Hi guys, my name is Jessica, and today I'm going to be talking about Black Orpheus and Pan's Labyrinth. So, in Black Orpheus, it's basically a retelling of the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. So, in the original, Orpheus is a very talented musician who is loved by all the gods, and he falls in love with Eurydice, who ends up dying after she steps on a snake. Afterwards, Orpheus is devastated and he has to go to the underworld to find her. On the way, he faces Cerberus, which is a three-headed dog. After he finds her, they tell him not to look back at Hades because if he does so, he will lose her forever. But he is unable to hold back temptation, so he ends up looking back anyway, and he ends up losing her forever. So in the movie, Orpheus is a Brazilian man who is a very talented musician, and he is preparing for the Carnival festival. And he falls in love with a girl named Eurydice, who is visiting from out of town, who's running away actually from a man who's trying to kill her. So in the movie, it is stated that there has been an Orpheus before, and that there will be another after. So at the end of the movie, there is a little boy who picks up his guitar and starts playing music, and that can be seen as the new Orpheus. And because of this, Orpheus can be seen as a vegetation god since his story keeps on repeating itself in cycles. So, Carnival is a ritual that involves music, dancing, and costumes, and this occurs in preparation for Lent. Um, and the myth of Orpheus in this movie, it starts at the beginning of this ritual of Carnival and it ends after the ritual is ended. Um, so after Eurydice dies in the movie, Orpheus goes to a type of ritual that they're performing in order to get her back. So when he goes down to this room, it can be seen as representing him going down to the underworld. And even on the way, he encounters a dog named Cerberus, much like in the original myth. So, and much like in the original myth, after he contacts Eurydice, she tells him that he must not look back, but he does so anyway, and he loses her forever. And then in the end, he ends up falling off a cliff with her and dying with her in his arms. So throughout this movie, music is very important, and it's used in all of the rituals. So in the carnival ritual, it's very prevalent. It's music is a very big thing in that, and uh, Orpheus says that he has the power to make the sunrise by playing music every day. So that can be a type of ritual as well, which involves music because he has to play the guitar in order for the sun to rise. And at the end of the movie, the little boy who can be seen as like the rebirth of Orpheus is seen playing the guitar to make the sunrise. And when he is performing the ritual to bring back Eurydice, he is also chanting a song, which helps bring her back. So, in Pan's Labyrinth, the movie starts by telling the story of a princess who escaped her underground kingdom because she wanted to see what humanity was like, but after she sees the bright sunlight, she forgets who she is and she ends up dying. So, her father believed that she would be reborn. So, and because of that, he built a labyrinth for her to one day eventually find her way back to him. So the movie then shows Ophelia and her pregnant mom who are traveling to Ophelia's stepfather's camp, where she finds a stone with an eye on it, and after she puts it back in its place, a fairy appears and follows her, and then later takes her to the labyrinth where there's a faun. So this faun is actually not Pan, although Pan is commonly depicted as a faun, and Pan is the god of the wild. The fawn tells her that she must complete three tasks before the full moon in order to be able to go back to her kingdom. So each task is very ritualistic in nature, and it has multiple steps, and they must be done at a specific time. So the first task is that she must go to a dying tree and feed a large toad some stones in order to kill the toad and to be able to retrieve a key. And after she completes this task, the tree ends up coming back to life. So her second task is to face an inhumane creature and use the key that she obtained from the first task to get a dagger. So in this task, the fawn was very specific, and he said that she must not eat or drink anything, but she's still unable to resist herself, and she ends up eating a grape, which wakens the monster, who starts eating the fairies and chasing after Ophelia. However, she's able to use the chalk that the fawn gave her, and she ends up escaping, but just barely. After this, the fawn is very mad at her because she did not complete the task like he told her to, and she disobeyed him. Um, Ophelia can also be seen as a type of vegetation god because it is possible that this is not the first rebirth that she's had, and that she's actually attempted these tasks before, which can be seen in the second task where there's a, a few seconds where they pan to a pile of shoes. So this can be interpreted as her having already attempted to complete this task in the past multiple times. So the monsters in this movie also are meant to represent the things that we don't understand. So, and also like the things that we don't want to confront in ourselves. After some time, um, the fawn gives Ophelia a mandrake, which is meant to help her mother, who's very sick due to her pregnancy. So in order for this to work, she has to perform a type of ritual because she must put the mandrake in milk and then feed it 2 drops of her own blood every day in order for it to help her mother. After it's discovered, however, Ophelia's mother burns the mandrake, which then results in her starting to go into labor, and she ends up dying while she gives birth to her son. So after some time has passed, the fawn gives Ophelia a second chance, and he tells her that she must bring her newborn brother to the labyrinth. And after she arrives, he tells her that she needs to spill some of his blood into the labyrinth because they need an innocent's blood in order to complete this task. But she refuses, and after she turns around to walk out, her stepfather kills her and takes her brother. And later on, he ends up getting killed by the rebels. So Ophelia's own blood is spilled into the labyrinth, and that's used to complete the task. After, as she's dying, she appears in a throne room, and she's wearing different clothes, and she joins her father and her mother, thus completing this task and all the other 3 tasks. So in both movies, the characters are similar because in the sense that they both commit mistakes. Orpheus by looking back and then losing Eurydice forever, and Ophelia by eating the grape and awakening the monster and failing the second task. And in both movies, the characters at the end, but still end up getting a happy ending. Orpheus by rebirth, and Ophelia also through rebirth and through finding her father and reuniting with him. So that's all for me, and see you guys next week.